Discount Podcast.
Welcome in, you cheap beggars, to Discount, the bargain bin gaming podcast hosted by three people so cheap you'd think we were the Prime Minister discussing raises for the nurses and other important workers. Cheap! We do satire here.
That was so messy.
It was. I forgot what I was going to do. I forgot I had to do an intro.
You looked at me halfway through with panic in your eyes. I just like, where am I going?
So messy, like the government, right?
Do you know what you might need? A maths A level. Ooh.
Oh, okay.
Because of Rishi Sunak and the maths thing.
There's zero response.
Oh my god. I hate you guys. I hate being the only girl on this podcast. It's misogynistic.
And who does she hate? It's me. I'm Josh. I'm one of your hosts. I'm plugging in to play it too.
Who does she hate slightly less? It's me, Darren. What's up?
And who do I love? Me. I'm Cerys.
Cool. Yeah, we are your hosts. We're back with another Freebies free play episode. This is our first one discussing the PS lineup since October, I think.
Yeah,
God
October,
damn.
November time.
Yeah, we missed November due to general recording issues, and then December was our year in review.
Yeah, I've missed these episodes.
I have.
Yeah, these ones are chaotic.
Yeah, they're great.
I say that. I think we've only done one.
It was my favourite recording we've done.
Yeah.
But not according to you guys who are listening at home.
Let's keep making these. I love them.
Well, I mean, we're not going to stop.
No.
And if you think it's a filler episode, that's fine. Come along to our ones where we argue over who was right for buying something.
And sometimes we really do argue.
Yeah.
Yes, they do. But obviously, it's been a long time, so really there's a lot of news that has happened in the gaming world since October, but we're not going to look back that far. We're just going to look back at stuff that's happened a little bit more recently. Although, realistically, I think back in our October one, we were talking briefly about issues with Blizzard, I think, if I remember correctly. So, and that seems to be hitting a peak now, doesn't it?
Yeah, that was the piece of news I kind of wanted to concentrate on because it's a weird one. There seems to be, it's news, but it's quite vague. Like there's not a huge amount coming out about it. There's a lot of people talking about tensions, but there's not really a lot of detail about the tensions. So essentially what's happened is Blizzard have pulled out of China. And they've pulled out of China.
That's not safe.
That method doesn't always work. Okay, anyway. So,
Starting strong.
Yep.
naughty Blizzard is pulling out of China because
with all their sort of sexual harassment cases, I think we've got to find a better way to work.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. They're suspending actions
Cool.
in China.
Pump and dump in China.
My God.
Go on.
Oh my God. Okay, so what's happened is that essentially they had a contract with NetEase that were kind of putting out all these games in like that they do, such as Overwatch 2,
Others.
Hearthstone. I can't say it. World of Warcraft.
Wow, yeah.
Essentially, because they failed to renew a licensing deal in China, Blizzard has decided, fuck this, we're going. So they have told every person that has an account, you need to download your data. You know, there's no real answer for if they're ever going to be able to play that in China again. I'm assuming if a licensing deal comes up, it'd be stupid not to.
I can't see them not going back.
It's a big player base.
All I know is that like there was a lot of talk about the Overwatch League in particular, and the fact that the Chinese team is now probably going to have to operate out of South Korea because obviously we don't know how long these problems are going to go on.
It's going to go for at least a year, isn't it?
Yeah.
I would imagine it's at least a 12-month issue.
Yeah.
To be fair, I find the story really funny given the side Blizzard were on in the whole Hong Kong thing.
Yeah.
When they refused to take a stance on that, people are like, oh, they're in bed with China. Now this has happened. Like,
Well,
where are they?
Yeah.
Well, they were, and then they got bought by an American company, and now they're like, whatever you want, USA. We are shills. We will
Freedom, right?
Yeah. So yeah, but the more that I have tried to kind of look at it, it's really weird. Like, and I don't know if it's because they're trying to keep things under wraps, but then obviously people who are gamer news people are kind of like, there's tensions, and I'm like, where are you finding this?
Yeah.
But it might,
China.
Yeah.
Who would have thought there'd be tensions in China?
Yeah. yeah, essentially that's it. They've ceased operations there. People are downloading their data.
It happens this month, doesn't it?
It's the end of this month, I think.
January,
maybe beginning of February that they are stopping completely.
I mean, I thought something was good, because obviously we mentioned this in October. I thought by January something was going to sort of come out of the woodwork and they were going to be able to keep it going. But it seems insane to lose that much of a player base.
Well, it's nuts as well, because if you look at it, like Bloomberg has said that they count for at least 3%, which doesn't sound huge, but it is quite a big chunk of Activision's Blizzard net revenue. And last year, like it got over $400 million in esports earnings alone. Yeah. So that's a huge amount of money that they just nope.
I gotta be honest, I think they're trying to phase out Overwatch League anyway, because it's not doing well. It's actually becoming a money sink for them. So a lot of this isn't.
I mean, is that related though? Do you think to as obviously in the last emission,
yes, if you've heard page 47,
we did talk about the issues, which is what I was going to say, with Overwatch 2 compared to Overwatch 1, and the fact that people did become a little bit disillusioned with the game because it took so much charm out of it.
Well, no, I think the bigger issue is that obviously you had leagues where it was already on the downturn, but then you had a 6-man team, and then suddenly you had a 5-man team, so your tank main had to be more important than what it was before. And it just all sort of...
The thing is, I now understand why they didn't leave the Overwatch 1 servers on, because people would have played Overwatch 2 for maybe a week and then gone, I'm going to go back.
I also hadn't thought about that you probably in your Overwatch League spend a lot of time building the perfect 6-man team.
You do.
And the new game comes out and they cut one of your players.
And they're gone, and then your tank becomes so much more vital, but then your healers become even less important.
But also you have to cut one of your real people because they don't get to play anymore, which is kind of sad.
Yeah,
it is sad. Unless
you do as a tag team in different rounds. You're in now.
I feel like since October, with the release of Overwatch 2, I haven't heard any positive news about Blizzard.
Positive news is coming for Overwatch. Apparently, with Season 3, they're bringing back more free skins for people just to be playing the game.
So that's cool.
I think they've listened and they've realised they're losing players.
I really do need to go back on Overwatch. I used to really enjoy it, and I just haven't gone back for a little while.
I think Blizzard are just hoping Diablo 4 is good.
Yeah. I think that's
the big sort of saviour at the minute.
That's their make.
I hope Diablo 4 is good.
I like Diablo. Well. I like Diablo 1 and Diablo 2. I didn't really get into Diablo 3, but...
I've only played 3.
Isn't Diablo the
it.
one that, as a kid, the soundtrack used to really freak you out?
I think it's one of the best soundtracks of all time for gaming. Even though it's only 30 minutes in length, it is brilliant. But yeah, it was on my Get to Know Us thing I talked about.
Yeah.
But yeah, so obviously China is losing out on a lot of things. And apparently we might all be losing out on our PlayStations as well by putting them the wrong way round.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I have 2 bits of news to cover. This one really tickled me. A news report came out that said, standing your PlayStation vertically may significantly reduce its lifespan.
Oh, Christ, I don't do that, thank God.
No, we'll get there. So people read the headline and went, fuck, shit, this is really bad. Nobody read the article, obviously, because it's people on the internet.
Yeah.
And then, a week later, an update came out that said they retracted the statement based on a critical misunderstanding of the findings.
Okay.
And basically, what it boiled down to is that there is a component in your PlayStation, which is like a cooling component, and it has liquid in it, because it's a cooling component. And if your cooling component gets damaged, which is really hard to do, and other components in your PlayStation are also damaged, which is really hard to do, standing it vertically is probably worse, because the liquid will just go down.
I get you.
Which basically, what it equates to is if you, for fun, like to throw your PlayStation against the wall,
make it land horizontally.
Yeah,
be
stand
fine.
it flat afterwards, and it will last slightly longer. Which is really fucking stupid. And if you read it from the beginning, you're like, they said, oh yeah, there's a component that has liquid in it, and if it gets damaged, it can get into cracks in the thing. Like, so if all of my components are damaged, my PlayStation will last less time.
Yes, it's good.
No shit. Okay.
I mean, out of interest, I think all of us horizontal.
I'm vertical.
Yeah.
You're vertical.
I have no room for horizontal because I have too many consoles.
It is still a monster.
That's the thing. I don't think we have room for it vertically. So
you always have room for it vertically, but then it has to sort of sit on the floor.
Yeah,
it does. Yeah, I have a TV cabinet and it has PS3, PS4, PSVR, Wii U in it. So I have to stand the PS5 vertically next to the cabinet.
Would you be able to put it in the cabinet if those weren't in there?
Yeah,
or one of them
just about.
Just about, yeah.
It would leave a couple inches space either side.
But also, yours sounds aesthetically pleasing.
I know
It's got that Kyber coat on.
they're bringing out the slim model, aren't they? Which is not called
Apparently.
slim as well, which is not actually looking to be that much smaller.
Probably not. No.
It's just looking more rounded and more like you know when they went from PS4 to PS5, you went PS4 Pro. We went, oh yeah, we've taken the corners off.
Yeah.
Look, smooth.
I just feel like the PS5 was always meant to be like a thick boy.
It
I
was.
like it.
I think it's
I
good.
like how it looks.
Thick.
I do find it funny that the disc version very clearly just has a disc drive bolted on the side, and I find that really funny. Because you look at the
I keep
digital
looking
only one.
across at it, going, yeah, the digital. To be honest, I think the digital one looks weirder.
It looks weirder, but it's clearly the aesthetic they're going for.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it slims down at the base, and the disc drive's like, ugh.
And I still go. They always talk about how it looks more like a Wi-Fi router, generally, like an old school Wi-Fi router. But then you look at the new Xboxes, and they look like a humidifier you bought for your house.
They look like a mini fridge.
Yeah, it's like, what do you actually want? Which one do you want?
I
in
love
your
them,
house?
to be fair. I love how it looks.
Yeah,
I'm
Yeah,
probably
I'm
in
a
the
big
minority
fan.
for that.
Big
but-
fan of how it looks.
I very much like
I
it
think
as well.
it's the prettiest one of them all.
Yeah.
I do.
You do.
My other news story is a little segment I would like to call "What the fuck is happening to Ubisoft?"
Oh, perfect. I couldn't remember what it was because I could have done another segue into that better and done it this way. But oh well, too late now.
Yeah, what the fuck's happening to Ubisoft? News came out a couple
Shut
weeks
the
ago.
bed is what it is.
Ubisoft cancelled 3 games, apparently. They didn't
Okay.
say what they were. They just
Yeah.
said they cancelled 3 games. People are concerned because they have a lot of beloved franchises. I'm also concerned because it probably means Watch Dogs is dead, and I like Watch Dogs.
The most recent Watch Dogs Legion, I didn't like. That
I
much.
haven't had a chance to play it yet.
Yeah.
I'm kind of interested. Watch Dogs 2, I absolutely adore.
I think you lose a character really with Watch Dogs Legion, and that's what sort of anyone could be anything like. Yeah, but I want a character. But yeah, that's why
So
Watch Dogs.
2 has a joke about Steve Irwin. It's one of the funniest jokes in video gaming. Genuinely hilarious. But also, a lot has been happening with Skull and Bones, which is the game that everyone has been looking forward to since I think 2014.
Yes.
Yep.
No, 2017. I think. That was. Oh no, 2014 is when it was first revealed.
Yep.
2017 is when we thought it was first coming out.
Yeah,
And we're now 2023.
we're in 2023. It's been delayed again.
Yeah.
Right.
Also, I believe I saw this news today. They've cancelled pre-orders and delisted it from the PlayStation Store, which means it's probably gone for a little while. People are concerned.
just a little while. It has. It's
Just
not
a little
been-
while. People are concerned it's not going to come out. What I've also learned is that it has to come out because it's been funded by a grant from the Singapore government, and they made a big office in Singapore specifically to make this game,
Yep.
which means it has to come out. It might be bad, but it has to come out. And I'm really interested to see if it is bad or if this is just the greatest marketing ploy of all time.
Yeah.
They just keep delaying it and delaying it. They delist it, they bring it back, and it gets like 95s.
Do you know what's going to happen? And I think this is going to be the most perfect thing for it to happen, is that someone finds it online and pirates it, Skull and Bones is it, and drops out and everyone actually likes
Maybe
it.
that's
And
the plan.
it's the plan is for it to be pirated, released, and they go, oh my god, they actually are making great games.
I honestly think the worst thing that could happen to Skull and Bones is that it's just fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it either
has
needs
to
to
be
be
one or the other.
absolutely incredible
Or
or a
terrible.
complete shit show that was forced to come out and people
Yeah.
will sort of gravitate to it then
Yeah.
based on it being so fun, like bad it's funny.
The problem is it's Ubisoft, and it's not like CD Projekt Red have worked really hard to make Cyberpunk good. No Man's Sky, Hello Games worked really hard to make that what people
Yeah.
want it to be.
They'll just
Ubisoft
drop it out.
will drop
It'll get
it.
like a 68 and they'll
And
go,
they go,
cool.
dead.
Bye.
Never doing this again. Never touching
Yeah.
it. No updates. No nothing. You just look at the other stuff they do. They just don't. They don't look at it for quality of life.
Yeah,
do they?
I typically enjoy Ubisoft games. They kind of like pinprick the little part of my brain.
Assassin's Creed games are the ones I go for. They're the big
Yeah.
ones for Ubisoft. I think outside of that, I'm not going. Oh man, there's new Ubisoft games coming out.
Yeah, and I can kind of vibe with a Far Cry every now and then. But other than that, who cares?
Yeah, and Far Cry is just becoming cut and paste, isn't it? Right,
Yeah,
right
it's
now?
a shame.
Which
But
is
oh
a
well.
shame. But yeah, so Ubisoft is down the pan. Blizzard is struggling in China.
Yeah.
PlayStations are exploding. But don't worry, we're doing well with TV.
Hooray!
Because The Last of Us has now come out. At the point of recording this, the first episode has dropped. The second one will come out when this comes out. And I'm not going to spoil anything because I know Cerys hasn't watched it. I don't think you've watched it, Darren.
I've played Last of Us though, so I get
You played
the
it,
gist.
yeah.
See, this is my thing. Is I'm hoping, and I say this because I hope to
You know
do a
you.
lot. But I would really like to play the first part before I watch anything. You know?
Yeah, I think it's the way to do it. After watching it, they've done a very nice, faithful adaptation with slight changes. Not changes, but like, for example, one of the characters is black who was white, but you know what? It doesn't
But
matter.
what does it matter?
It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. They add to it and they've built it, and they've made it. So the first episode follows probably the first few chapters of the game, I would describe it. Not to say anything, but they've met the Fireflies.
Cool.
Like that's sort of where they get up to.
Yeah.
And we're now like, oh, cool, this is working. And they've got actual lines from the show. They've got like from the game. Like I'm like, I know that bit. Oh, I know that. Admittedly, I've just finished the part one again, getting the platinum earlier this month, which I wanted to do before it came out. And they've done a very nice faithful adaptation. It's got like 99% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's like massive on all the ratings. It's great to see an adaptation done faithfully and well.
I have seen online people like freaking out in a good way because what is the name of the guy, the main
Pedro
guy?
Pascal.
That's it, yeah. So but they've compared actual like game
The shots of him leaning against
shots
the door.
of him, and they're like, this is insane. Like they've done so much research, they've done so much, like it's obviously made by people who like really like the game as well, and it's cool to see.
I read a great joke about Pedro Pascal in the
Go
show.
for it.
but-
I read a great thing
it's,
about
it's a
him
big
too.
spoiler.
Oh,
so
don't do it
I'll
then.
leave it.
Yeah. I can tell you
later.
one that's not a spoiler that's
Okay.
quite hilarious
know?
about him because it's not, it's about him.
Oh, it's about him.
It's footage taken from him on like an Instagram live or something, and he's back but when he's like recording it, and someone, I think it might have been Henry Cavill or Chris Pine or someone like that, who people refer to on the internet as Daddy, and he's come out and said, I don't like being called Daddy, please don't call me Daddy. Pedro Pascal went on this live and was like, I just want everybody to know that if you're going to call people Daddy, I am the daddiest of the daddies, and you can call me Daddy anytime you like. I was like, you fucking legend.
I mean, I was concerned when he was cast because I thought he's not Joel. He's not going to work. And then he came in and he's done a solid job. The only thing I have an issue is the girl who plays Ellie doesn't look like Ellie. But I mean, I can't be too.
I mean,
annoyed.
the only person that would have looked like Ellie though would have been pre-transition Ellen Page.
Yeah.
The girl who voices her doesn't look completely
Oh
dissimilar.
yeah, but she's like late 30s.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And I say Ellen Page, by the way, obviously, because he was Ellen Page
Yeah.
at that point.
What's everyone's
obviously,
favourite?
we know he's Elliot now.
What's
so.
everyone's favourite Pedro Pascal performance?
Mandalorian's good.
Yeah.
The Unbearable Weight and Massive Talent. I think that's a great film with Nick Cage. He's great in that. People like him in Game of Thrones.
Yep.
I loved him in Game of Thrones. I loved him.
What are you going to throw in? Some animated stuff?
No. He fills in for the community table read of the lie detector episode.
Yes.
He plays the lie detector guy, and that's genuinely my favourite performance.
Yeah, that is good. Yeah, and but the best bit is he obviously hasn't read it. He hasn't seen the episode and has no idea, so he starts laughing.
He has no idea the fucking canisters of sperm are coming up.
and he's literally in tears as he's reading it out.
He just seems
It's
like
so
a really
good.
wholesome guy.
Yeah,
like
he's having a lovely time.
But at this point, looking really good. We'll see how it goes. But that is some of our news. So we'll just wrap up getting past all the news stuff.
Yeah.
I think the biggest part of that news was Pedro Pascal encouraging people to call him Daddy.
I mean, that's what you've taken away from
Yeah.
the news. I don't know if this is the biggest
honestly,
part.
kind of same.
Yeah, good for him. Good for
And
you.
apparently,
I'm a straight man, but he can be my daddy.
I mean, anyone can have a dad.
Yeah.
I feel bad looking at you.
Oh my god!
Stared dead, into my eyes. Like,
God,
The way the pin dropped with you just
that
then,
bad?
Jesus Christ!
I don't think there's any context for this for the podcast.
No.
I'll cut it out anyway. It'll be fine.
Oh, good.
Oh my god!
Yeah, but it's all on YouTube. We're stuck with this. And we'll leave that hanging there. We'll just leave that hanging there.
We'll fill it in 6
Oh
episodes from
dear.
now. It'll be
We'll
great.
do. See if anyone asks.
Yeah.
So we'll move on to what we've been playing. And apart from with Darren's emotions, what have we been playing?
Games.
The past month. Games. Good God. Darren, you've been
Hi.
playing a lot of games. We'll move on to you, and I'm going to sit here and
been
think
playing a lot
about
of
my
games, yeah.
actions.
I want to compare 2 games I finished recently that have made a very serious change to my 2022 Game of the Year list.
I've got several that have changed my 2022 as well.
For me, I finished God of War
Yep.
at long last.
Yep.
It's a good game.
It is a good game.
It's a good game. I don't think it's an excellent game. I think it's a great game.
I think it relies too much on the previous God of War.
I think it also, my biggest problem with it is it has what I call Game of Thrones writing. where it seems very clearly the first thing they planned was the ending. And a lot
Yeah.
of the game feels like they're putting the pieces in place for the ending to happen.
Yeah, that makes
There's
sense.
a lot of like pissing around in the woods so that X person is in X place
And-
for the ending.
And Atreus is a chore.
He is a chore.
Yeah.
There's a bit like
I'm glad you agree, because I had this sort of... I was saying this on the actual episode. I'm glad you're agreeing with these thoughts.
there's a bit like towards the end where the two of them are together, and then it's like Atreus is going to go do this, Atreus go do this, and then the game pans to Atreus. Went fuck.
You're like, that is... You're like,
I want to do the Kratos bit.
oh no, we're going to be Atreus now. Great. I'm going to wander
Yeah.
around and be a whiny kid. Why can't I go off and just kill some cool shit with Kratos?
Yeah,
He could be my daddy.
It got knocked down a place in my 2022 Game of the Year.
Oh, you're knocking it down, would you?
I knocked it down to 4th. My new number 3 is Sonic Frontiers.
Oh, is it? There we are.
Yeah, I've been having a lovely time with that one. The main difference between it and why I've liked it more than I sort of felt about God of War towards the end is Sonic Frontiers is like unapologetically a game.
Yeah.
Yes, I know, and that is it's a game through and through. I'm also playing Sonic Frontiers at the moment,
Yeah.
quite near the end. Not got the end, so don't spoil anything for it. Not that I'm not that I'm really invested in the story.
You can't spoil much of a Sonic story.
No, Eggman's being bad. Sonic's
go
going to
fast.
save the day. He
You do
go
go
fast.
fast.
And you can make him go even faster. And there
Yeah.
are 2 modes as well, aren't there?
Yeah, there's like fast mode and slightly less fast mode.
mode, yeah.
It's like if you've played a lot of Sonic, go for fast mode. If you haven't, go for less fast mode.
I went for less fast
I
mode.
went for fast mode. It's chaos.
I gotta say, I have only seen Josh playing Sonic Frontiers. The soundtrack for those battles, man, like
it's
the
great.
whole like metalcore
insane.
stuff is crazy. It's so good.
I've been playing it, and like the boss battle starts, and you hear the music. You're like, is this fucking anime music?
Yeah, it's really. It does. And then all of a sudden you get some screams in there.
Yeah,
and
there's
stuff,
like a
and-
full like metalcore breakdowns halfway through. It's like, oh my god, so good, so
Yeah,
good.
But no, but a lot of people complained when it was first being shown off that it's literally just an open world sandbox, and they just stick fucking rails in the sky and go, yeah, I love it.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like, yeah, as you said, it's an open world, but like you complete these little areas to reveal part of the map, and they go, here you go, here's a rail to the closest one that you can get to if you've already discovered it, and here's a rail for you, and you just grind your way around. It's really nice.
It's a real fucking, I call it a dopamine game, because most of it is you're collecting these little sort of talisman things so you can talk to your next NPC.
Yeah.
And each of those is at the end of like a little platform or rail puzzle.
Yeah.
Which means the entire game is you do a 5-second puzzle, it gives you a reward, and you go, yeah. And it's just that's one
I
on
see.
repeat.
Okay.
It
Fucking
loads of
class.
it, or you just run in a circle to unlock something from the ground. It really works. I think the best part about this game is the open world aspect of it. Because they've got levels in there. They have, like your green hills and things like you'd expect from a Sonic game, but they're ultimately worthless in the nicest possible way, because you need to get these keys to unlock the crystals, but you can get the keys out in the open world as well, and get enough keys just out in the open world without having to do. So once you've unlocked them, you don't actually have to go in.
They're
and
fun
get
little
them.
callbacks though.
They are.
I had a really nice time because one of them, like my core Sonic game, the game I associate with Sonic, is Sonic Adventure 2.
Right.
And there's one of those little levels, they're called cyberspace levels. One of them is based on the opening level. And I got like halfway through, I went, this is the fucking Sonic Adventure 2 level. And it's the exact same, like, going through the motions. Like,
They have literal levels from Sonic Generations, which we talked about in the last episode. And I was like, oh, cool, we're back here again. But I have the issue again that in those ones, I like the 2D style ones more than I like the 3D style ones, and you're probably the other way around, I imagine.
yeah, like, I don't mind the 2D ones. I find the 2D ones are harder to go fast in.
Oh, I find it easier.
Because the 3D ones, you can sort of pop yourself up into the air and then homing attack someone who's like 6 enemies away. If you can get the right angle. In the 2D ones, because you can only see so far in front of you, you just sort of have to go where the level is taking you.
Yeah.
Whereas in the 3D ones, you can fuck about and like skip big sections.
I have never not got an S rank in a 2D one.
I think I struggled more to get the S rank.
And I found that easier.
The 3D ones, you're just like bam, bam, bam.
The worst one is the one where you have to run and you have to like curve round bends. I'm like, this is rubbish. This is rubbish. We're running in a straight line, suddenly it turns. You're like, no, go away.
But stuff like that. I just like that it just knows it's a game and just sort of lives with it being a game. Like a big thing is like Sonic can go in and out of cyberspace and no one else can. And the game keeps going, oh, how can he do it? Game doesn't give a fuck how he can do it. It's
No.
literally just an excuse for you to have cyberspace levels.
Yeah.
The game knows that. The game does not care. The game just assumes you also do
not care. Yeah.
And that's what I liked compared to
It doesn't take
God of
itself
War,
seriously.
is that God of War is very clearly a game, and a lot of it is based on, like, you go around and you have your collectibles and you have your map things, but it's so desperately trying to be like, no, everything is central, everything is crucial, everything is keenly important. Sonic's like, you want to go grind the fucking rail in the sky? Do it.
Yeah.
Go on, bud.
God of War believes it's heightened media, while Sonic is fully aware that all you want is to switch off for an hour
Sonic
and run
knows
around.
it's a Sonic game.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
It's a self-awakening.
I loved it.
It's weird. A lot of people use these for open world games now and say it's this game, it's this, and the game I'm going to say it's reminded me a lot of is actually Breath of the Wild, and it's not. And,
That's controversial in this room.
and it's not because it plays like Breath of the Wild or it does anything like that. It's just this weird, and it's more the landscaping of it all with this weird sort of like open world and these like big pillars that are floating around, and the sort of it just felt a little like, oh, this feels like they've gone, oh, that worked really well. Let's make it like that, but let's make it as Sonic as we possibly can. And that's more what I mean. Not that it's like Breath of the Wild.
I'm going to be
different
honest, though. There was I know you guys listening to this can't see this, so I'll try and describe it as best I can. But there was a moment where Breath of the Wild left Josh's lips, and Darren's facial expression was like, "You fucking what?"
My
And then
facial
when you clicked, and you were like, and then it changed. But
For
there
a
was
second, I went, what? And I went, no, wait, I do
get
think
it.
that.
And the thing is,
I heard the words, and I was like,
Yeah, your whole
it
face
sounds like
was
my
like,
stress response.
"What?"
Are we fucking, oh no, I agree. Yeah.
I disagree with everyone using it as whenever there's an open world, now they go, oh, it's very Breath of the Wild. That's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm saying is it's got a general feeling like Breath of the Wild, where it's like, oh, this is the new way that this genre is, this game is going to move in, but also we've taken a lot of the visual stylings from it.
Yeah. To fair, I prefer this because this does what I wish Breath of the Wild did.
Yeah.
Where, welcome to our monthly segment.
Breath of the Wild.
Darren shits on Breath of the Wild.
It's all right, we'll cut this out, it's fine.
In this game, everything feels more purposeful.
Yeah.
The problem I have with Breath of the Wild is that a lot of it feels just like busy work. And like you can go and do everything, but in the end it's not really amounting to everything.
I don't think we should cut this out.
This is like you go and do the bullshit to get the talismans, to go talk to the people, to unlock the cyberspace, to get the keys, to get the things.
It's very much...
It feels like there's actually a sense of progression there, whereas in Zelda you can go straight to the boss if you want.
Yeah,
so the rest of the game just feels like wasting time until you go fight the boss.
This game has... it does have fluff around the outside, but it's completely optional in how you do it. It very much is, you will need this, and you can get this, and you go on and you do the next stage, and you do the stage. You have to hit this, you have to hit this, you have to hit this.
Each area has like 200 of those little sort of tokens available, and you need like 150 to progress. You can just do any ones you want and progress from there.
It's a good fun
great
game.
time.
I'm enjoying it. I did get frustrated the other day because in World 3 I couldn't work out how I hadn't uncovered the entire map because I couldn't work out how to get to a location. But then I figured it out and it was all fine. And that was the only time I've had frustrations in this game. I do also find that the camera lock-on isn't always intuitive.
Camera can be a bit weird.
Yeah, but that's fine. But yeah, Sonic, great game.
Great game.
I've also been playing games that have changed my 2022 lineup. I've played a lot.
Entire top 5 is different.
No, Elden Ring's still number 1.
Cool.
Cult of Lamb, I platinumed that. It's dropped out because it wore thin after a while, and it was problems with it. I still think it's I still think it's a top 10 game. I just don't think it's in my top 5.
It ties together really well early on, and then the further you get through the game, the two elements just divert.
Yep.
Oh, that's really interesting because I know you were really keen on that.
I was. Then number 2 for me is The Last of Us Part 1, which feels like a real cheap thing to throw in there. But the first Last of Us game is amazing, and they've done a beautiful job with this. But I'm not going to talk about it because I talked about the series. Number 3 is no longer God of War either.
Cool.
It is now Sifu, which is brilliant. It's a roguelike fighting game where you age as you die. So if you die, you go up in a certain number of years. There are like 5 different levels for you to work through and progress, and you can do different runs on it. And the combat in it is beautiful. It just feels really nice, and the like deflections and the parries and how you build up, and it's just art style is lovely. And it's one of those games that I slept on, didn't get, and I'm so happy I've got it to play now. And I recommend anyone playing it because it is a really good game. It's hard. Don't get me wrong, it's hard. There was a point where I had to literally pause the end boss fight because my hand was cramping.
Oh my god, he was developing the claw, like fully developing the claw.
Because you've got bosses to beat. Basically, it's a standard sort of kung fu thing. Your father has been killed.
He
Kill the
burst a
people.
blood vessel in his finger.
I did
like,
burst a blood vessel in my finger.
fully injured himself.
But yeah, you have the option to either kill them or you spare them, etc., etc. And get to the end boss. If you spare him, you have to fight him again. And my god, it's trying to get his, because there's two different, there's health and there's also balance in there. So your blocking will knock people off balance, and if you break their stance, their form, you can then and that's how you have to beat the last one. But he is so quick and he's better than you. You're just constantly trying to deflect at the right times. And honestly, I think it took me about 10-15 minutes to beat him, and it was non-stop of I hate this, I hate this.
I don't know if you have one of these. Sifu, since it came out, has been my sale game. Where every time it goes on sale, I sit with the store open, I stare at it until the sale ends, and I go, should have bought it.
Should have bought it.
Every time. It's been on sale like 6 times. I just look and go, is it?
Yeah.
Is it Sifu time?
Is it Sifu time?
But yeah, brilliant game, and I thoroughly recommend it. So that's my number 3, and that means number 4 is now God of War Ragnarok. Number 5 is Stray, and knocked out of my top 5 is Horizon Forbidden West,
Mine as well.
which is what Cerys has been playing.
Yeah, and I'm not.
I know, I've nailed this, haven't I?
I'm not going to be able to talk about it much because, to be honest with you, I've literally only just started playing it. Like, literally only just started playing it. But my God, what a beautiful game!
It's a very beautiful game.
I mean, wow! Like,
I spent far too long in photo mode on that.
It's good. No, genuinely, I think that's the reason why I can't talk about it much, because I've spent more time in photo mode than I have actually playing the game.
It looks incredible.
I did not know much about it at all. I've never played the first one. So.
Okay.
When I went into it, I really didn't know what the concept of the game was. I don't know why I didn't realize that it is essentially a sci-fi game as well. Like,
Ginger gets magical Dorito, can see the future.
Magical Dorito. It's honestly...
I felt a correction coming out of it. No, that's right.
Yeah.
That's pretty accurate, yeah.
I gotta be honest with you, I didn't expect it to be as captivating as it is. I've never been much of an open world kind of player. Mostly because I don't have a lot of experience with it. I have proper I have a brain that doesn't function with a lot of options at the same time, so I find open world a little overwhelming and a little intimidating. I decided to give it a go because obviously with God of War there's a little bit of an open world element where you can go off and do different things. So I enjoyed doing that when I was playing God of War, so I thought I'll give it a go. I'm really pleasantly surprised by it so far. It's so beautiful.
I
the
think
story
it
is
has
amazing.
one of the best realised worlds.
Yeah.
Like, it fully
embraces what it is.
Yeah. I was going to say it fully makes sense in terms of what it is. It doesn't completely make sense some of the time, but it is sort of perfectly what it is.
Yeah. There's a point...
that entire ecosystem and it makes sense.
There's a point in the game later which is story-driven, so I'm not going to spoil it, but it's to do with the main person that you see keep appearing in your hologram. That doesn't make sense why that is still present. Sort of thing. But outside of that, it's a really solid game, and I love the whole thing with the people. Have you reached the people coming from another planet and stuff? That's like very early on. So I assumed.
Literally no, not yet. We are at the moment. Like I'm. Basically, I spent so long in the photo mode that I'm still in like the tutorial phase. Like I fought a machine. We've broken into the place where there's like a doctor hologram that's like telling you about things. And it's like,
Lisbeth.
What is this? Yeah, Lisbeth, I know about.
Who is you?
So who is me? Yes. So I'm very, very early on, but I'm excited to play more of it and see it. This is one of those games, though. I hate to say it, that I think it's going to take me ages to finish because it's so overwhelming with content that I'm like,
I'm going to put a note here of catch up on how far Cerys has got.
I guarantee you next month it's like, no, I spent too long farming with Goofy, so I'm not.
Yeah. I'm going to move on now before we start talking about Disney Dreamlight Valley again.
Because we said we'd do this last time as well. PS Stars update, it's fine.
PS Stars is fine. I've forgotten about it.
I have enough points for a £5 voucher now.
Cool. I am just off of my 5. I got 4,800 points or something like that.
You
so
probably have like one full setting because a £5 voucher is like one.
That's what I meant. I'm like 50 or 150 off of it. That's what I meant. So
I forgot it existed. I don't know what it does.
I think I know what I'm going to buy with my £5 voucher, so maybe I'll talk about that next time.
Cool. Oh, cool. Okay.
Right. We'll jump into Darren's mystery £5 PS Stars voucher next time. So should we move on to PS Plus this month?
Yeah.
First question. was PS Plus good or bad this month? And the answer is it was perfectly fine.
Yeah.
But it airs on the side of good.
I say it airs on the side of bad.
Do you?
Only because I'm looking at it in reflection to the past few months of PS Plus. I think it's a lot weaker, and compared to January last year, it is not anywhere near as strong.
I get that. Yeah, like as a standalone collection of games,
Yeah.
I think it's fine airing on the side of good. I think
Okay.
there's something there for everyone.
Yeah.
I think it's a collection of like pretty well praised games.
Yeah.
Some good stuff, fun stuff. On the side of what has come out previously, it's not the best.
No, I think that's what it is. I'm just looking back reflectively on
Yeah,
it, but I don't think they're bad games.
I think I always kind of judge these based on, like, I said this in my Twitch stream the other day, and like a few people kind of got it, in that like I go through phases with gaming where I am either like totally hyperfixated on it and I game all the time and I love it, or I'm like, I'm tired, can I be bothered, not much motivation, and I'm going through that phase at the moment. And I always kind of base my judgments on PS Plus games on whether, does this make me want to play anything? Does this actually interest me? I'm going to be honest, this list didn't massively interest me.
It's a lot of stuff that I have intended to play, but don't really care to play.
Yeah.
So mine's the same, or I've already played it. And
Yeah, I'm like-
I started it and went, it's all right.
I'm between games at the minute. And looking at this list, I started a couple things, but nothing's like, I 100% want to come and play this start to finish until it's done. Everything's like,
One of the games I've platinumed on this list, I think you're going to talk about it in a bit, Darren, but when it came out that there was a PS5 version, I went, oh, that's really cool, but I don't think it's got a new trophy list or anything like
I
that.
think it does.
Oh, does it?
I think so.
I know it doesn't auto pop. I know that much. But if it's got a new trophy
it has
list,
a new list.
if it's got a new list, I'll probably go back in
I think I am done.
and go and get that second platinum. But yeah, so I think what we're taking from is it good or bad? It's very much fine, but really it's down to personal flavour and whether you've had the opportunity to play some of these games in the past. But yeah, I think the games we're going to talk about that they've come out are the best ones that are on there. There may be some other notable ones we want to mention, but really these are going. So should we talk about our own individual picks?
Yeah.
I'll let Darren go first because I was going to accidentally talk about his game just a minute ago. So what is your pick for a game that someone should play on that has come out?
My pick for the game, there were many honourable mentions, but we'll get to those when we do the actual ranking. My pick for the game is Jedi Fallen Order, which is very good. I think this was a great marketing ploy because the new one comes out in a couple months.
Comes out in March, early March, and I am tempted to pre-order it already.
So they went like, "Oh, everyone play this one," and it's fun. It's got that sort of Star Wars has two types of game, which are
Good or bad?
which are Battlefront and Lonely Man Explores the World lightsabering things.
And Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah, that's not recent though.
No.
And the best one of them all, Lego.
No.
Yes.
Okay.
But this is, a lot of people call it like a Souls-like. It's not that hard.
It's nowhere near Souls like.
It's got a nice sort of like feel to it. The open world exploration is really nice. The lightsaber combat is very meaty, is the word I use. You hit things and they look like they hurt.
I feel like this is more of a Assassin's Creed style game or a Horizon game. It's that sort of, it's an open world, go collect your things, learn more about who your character is, uncover new abilities. It's not that Souls game. It's very much a nice open action RPG game, and that's what it is. It's comfortable in what it is,
Yeah,
and
it's got some really nice environments. The combat's really nice. There are some genuinely hard fights in there.
great cutscenes.
Great cutscenes. BD1 is a beautiful little creature.
I did watch someone do a stream of this the other day, the PS5 version, and the textures don't seem to be quite as good on the PS5 as they are on the PS4, and I can't work out why that's the case.
It might just be that they haven't up-res them properly, so it just looks a bit weird.
It's the fur that's a little off.
Yeah, but it's a lot of fun. It's well worth playing, especially if you're like a big Star Wars fan.
Yes, I think so.
There are some characters that crop up which are actual characters, and you recognise their names and stuff. You're like, oh, cool.
And it's got Forrest Whitaker in it.
It does.
For some reason. Forrest Whitaker's there, yeah.
I think is he the same character from Rogue One?
He is.
Yeah.
So
it's
it's...
like a fun little connection. One of the Wookiees is a Wookiee who has appeared elsewhere.
Yeah.
I think he's in episode 3 as well, and that's cool.
They did a really nice job. This felt like a good game that was almost like a love letter. Not a love letter, but like, here you go, here's enough for you fans that you'll enjoy it. Yeah. But here's a new story for those who don't particularly like Star Wars, who like, like, it sounds awful, like me, who likes Rogue One, who likes the world, but isn't like a big fan of the big Star Wars thing. But here you go, here's an exploration, here's a reason for it. You go, oh, cool. And now we know where it's going to build up to. We've got, really, you could make several games of this, of him building his way up to that point, but for some reason not fulfilling what he thought his destiny was, which I think is going to be really fun.
It's a lot of fun. It's a great time. Highly recommend.
Cool. So that's Jedi Fallen Order, Darren's pick for people to play. Yeah. Do you want to go next, Karis?
Yeah, sure. Okay. So my pick for this month was Devil May Cry 5. I mostly picked this one because this is, ironically, the Devil May Cry video game that I probably have the least experience with, but it is arguably the highest rated one in the franchise. Devil May Cry is a franchise that I was really close to my heart as a teenager, as like a 12, 13-year-old emo kid who just was like, oh my god, this is amazing.
Oh god, that boy's got a fringe.
Oh yeah, very much. Very, very much that. But it got absolutely amazing reviews. It was like 9 out of 10 on Steam. It was like people raved about it, and essentially you go back to kind of Dante and Nero, and they are kind of going across a city trying to stop the Demon King Urizen, I think that's how you pronounce it, from taking over oh my god,
Forbidden West,
from taking over the human world, and they run like a demon like fighting agency essentially, and they all have demonic powers of their own. And if you've ever played a Devil May Cry game, they are just so much fun, and they are so like, they focus mostly, the combat is all about being stylish and looking cool, but also being badass, and it's very gothy, and it's like very Japanese at the same time. It's just a good amount of fun. It's good escapism. It doesn't take itself too seriously. It knows it's campy. It knows it's cheesy. This one is a really interesting one to play if you haven't played one before. It's very different. I don't want to say stylistically, but essentially they used the RE engine, and this was the first one that they used post Resident Evil 7. So they wanted to make it, and I said this to the boys before, this is the funniest sentence ever when it comes to Devil May Cry, but they wanted to make a more realistic Devil May Cry, which is ridiculous.
Maybe less realistic, more grounded. Is that what they're looking for?
Well, they said realistic. Realistic is their own words.
Real looking, I suppose.
Yeah.
Oh, it's look wise rather than actual.
The situation looks more.
Yeah,
it's like an actual
so this
city
was
with actual people.
Okay.
They used motion capture for the first time in a Devil May Cry game to actually get people's facial expressions and the way that people move. So it feels, in fairness to, because realistic is not a word that I use, it's a word that they use.
Oh, I was just curious. I was trying to.
And I think that was what they meant, in that they wanted the things around them to look more set in real life. Okay. Because if you compare this to, and I know it's a bad comparison because Devil May Cry was a PS2 game, but if you compare it to that, where things are very, very unrealistic.
Another fire spider.
This feels a little bit more grounded in as much of a way as Devil May Cry can be. I just championed this one just because I think it's just good fucking fun.
I think we all agree it's probably the best game that they've got this week.
Yes.
I played 20 minutes of it. I wasn't sure how it's going to be because I haven't played Devil May Cry before.
Yeah.
Thankfully, it comes with like a history option you can pick.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It gives you a run through of all the games.
That's fun.
So you can understand it.
Does it include DMC? Or
It does.
Oh, I thought it might ignore that. Misstep.
But I played a little bit of it, and my main takeaway from this, because I came off the back of God of War, shall I say, I started to get a bit disillusioned with because it was trying sort of too hard to be high art. And then this is an emo boy with a robot hand and a bike sword in a van with a woman with minimal clothing and an absurd accent.
Yeah.
And hit a bump, and he in slow-mo spins around the van, kills about 6 demons, ends up back in the window. I'm like, yep.
And that is a theme throughout the entire franchise. Like the first scene of the first Devil May Cry game is that he's in his shop and he's fucking, he's sexy with his gun and his fringe.
He answers the phone, doesn't he?
He answers the phone, and this woman gets off a motorbike with like no clothes on, opens the door. And let me tell you now, as a 12-year-old girl who was just finding out that she liked both girls and boys, and very much liked emo boys, and very much like that whole emo
Naked
thing.
girl thing.
I literally at Christmas morning was just like mouth agape, just like, what is this? Not to mention that my parents had secretly played 7 hours of that game beforehand on Christmas morning, but we won't say anything.
Also finding out they both like girls and boys.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think Devil May Cry is a great game in general. I think it's. I always like to think that Devil May Cry is what a Blade game would be if he was more emo than goth.
Yeah.
That's what I want at once. I mean, if Disney went, not Disney, well, it is Disney with Marvel, we're going to make a Blade game that is essentially Devil May Cry. I could not throw my money at that fast enough.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to control myself.
Yeah.
It's just good fun. It's good fun.
Same thing if they made a Spawn game.
Stupid
that'd
fun.
be awesome.
Correct.
Stupid fun, yeah.
I've got a completely different route, and I actually, when I announced this, I think I shocked Darren a little bit with what my
I thought you
champion
were going to pick
game.
my game.
But no, my game is Omno, which is a lovely little Kickstarter game.
No idea what this is.
That was, I think it's South American again. Got its money it needed to do it. Got put forward, made. I think went on to Xbox Game Pass straight away, and it's now come to us. But it was all released on all platforms at the same time. Omno is a puzzle platformer game where you are a little guy with a staff and a little floaty green squirrel pig thing. I'm not sure. They don't talk. You just walk around, and the idea is you go and you have to find energy cubes. You seem to have this ability. You find like glyphs, and you have the ability to potentially transport between worlds and understand the history that's happening. And it's you going through about 6 different biomes, finding little energy balls and glyphs and things like that, and different animals, because there are about 40 odd different animals that are all little cute. There's like a penguin thing that's also like crossed with, I suppose, a bit like, I'm trying to think of what it is, like a cuttlefish, I suppose. Okay. And you're skating on your pole, and they come and skate along with you, and there's like a little trophy for skating them for like 20 seconds. Okay. It's really cute and fun, and it's like the perfect and it's the perfect what's the thing I'm looking for? PS Plus game. It's a game I would never have seen or paid for. If it had been on like, here's 20 quid, I'd be like, I'm not spending 20 quid on this game. But the fact it's free, and it's getting money back to the developer anyway, because they give the money for it. Yeah. And I played it. I platinumed it in about 4 hours with no guides, because you don't really need them for this. And I just had a lovely little time. It's like a perfect palate cleanser, fun game where you don't really have to engage your mind, but you have a lovely point throughout it. There are puzzles in there, but they're all simple enough that if you go, right, I've got that after 1 or 2 attempts, and that's what you want. You're not pushed for it, but it's a really pleasant game to play. And I think it's one that people should check out, because, you wouldn't normally look at this game.
It's my favourite part of the PS Plus list every month, where you scroll down, you're like, oh, here are the big hitters. Here are like the games people know but aren't as like good. And you get to the bottom, you're like, the indie shit.
The indie shit. And that's why I love a good indie game that really does what it says on the tin. And it's got really good reviews. But the crazy thing is, I looked through all the games that were done this month on Metacritic, just to sort of see where they rank. And the number 1 game for Metacritic is Devil May Cry 5. Yeah. The second highest rated one is actually Omno.
Oh, fair.
Because it's like an 84 on Metacritic, because of how good it does what it's meant to do. And seeing it's like a one-man team who spent like 5 years developing it, it's brilliant. It's much better than something like Phobia.
Oh, God, listen.
To be fair,
we don't need to talk about Phobia ever again.
One of my favourite games from last month's offerings was in the indie shit section of the list, so I might give this a go.
What was the one last one?
The Pedestrian.
Oh, right, yes.
Which is a little puzzle game where you like walk around on signs, and the puzzles are basically you move the signs around.
I didn't realise that was
doors in the right place.
I missed that last month. I'm going to go play that, because I really wanted to play it when it first came out.
2 to 3 hours to finish.
Yeah.
It's got no platinum, but I finished all the trophies, and they're all for just playing the game.
Brilliant.
A lot of fun. It's a nice little sort of afternoon waster.
I would say this is the same thing. Log on an evening after a hard day at work. You'll have 4 hours of pleasant time, and you won't regret. I don't think you'd regret it. And there's a nice little ending to the story as well. Yeah. You expect it to go one way, and it does something slightly different, not massively different. And you go, "That's nice. I enjoyed that."
I like it.
But yeah, that's our picks. But our actual top 5. Whoa. So our top 5 this month of games that you should go for.
What number 1 is?
Number 1 by an absolute country mile was Devil May Cry. We all had it in like our top 2, I think, picks when we were working it out. So that finishes number 1 overall. Right, so number 2 is Life is Strange. which
Fair.
is, again, another easy little platinum. It's very much like those Telltale games, but it was made by Square Enix instead, isn't it?
Yes.
And it's like all to do with cameras and...
I haven't played it, but I've only heard good things.
I've played the
People
first chapter. I think there are 4 chapters or 5 chapters. I played the first one a while ago. I'm going to go back because this came out plus its second season, which is not as well received.
This is like the perfect example of shit someone will be into.
That's it, and it's perfect for that. Number 3, Back 4 Blood.
God, what a great time.
What a great time.
What a fun time.
Me and Darren loaded it up earlier this week just to have a little go on it. And it is Left 4 Dead.
It's Left 4 Dead.
It's Left 4 Dead.
Just Left 4 Dead.
It is great stuff.
I
No-
love the
no
fact that they've
complaints.
just changed 2 words in the title. Hang on, this is a
They're
different
doing the
game.
same thing with the number 4. And I could not be happier. I love Left 4 Dead.
And the 4 is clearly because you can be doing a party of 4 for the whole thing. I had a great time. I got some Wolverine claws, and I was
Sweet.
slashing the hell out of those zombies. And Darren, if he was in my way, I didn't care. Everyone was
This
getting
is another
slashed.
game that clearly has no ounce of seriousness in its body. And
Yeah.
I could not be happier.
Um,
Had a fucking lovely time.
It's a game that I would recommend loading up with some friends and just knocking a load of it out. And they've got some cool mechanics in it, which I'm looking forward to exploring further with at some point in the future. So that was number 3. And then number 4 was Star Wars Fallen Order. And number 5 is Omno, which managed to get on there basically through my voting for it alone because of how everything else. Anything else you want to mention that was on the PS Plus this month?
I want to honourable mention 2 very quickly.
Yep.
Axiom Verge 2 on the Essential list, because we did Axiom Verge on this podcast.
Yep.
I've played like half an hour of it.
Fine.
It's Axiom Verge.
Just not as good as the first one.
No, it's got a bit less charm to it. It's trying too hard to have a big story, and I'm not as into it.
Yeah.
The other one is Just Cause 4, which is not a great game, but boy, it's fun.
I don't like Just Cause 4 myself, but it's just one of those games. Sometimes things will just miss for you, won't they? It's never worked for me, the Just Cause
It
games.
had the real Ubisoft vibe for me.
Yeah.
Where it sort of plops you down the middle of a massive world with a bunch of shit to do. It goes, here's grapple guns, here's dumb weapons, here's explosives. Have fun.
Is it Square Enix as well?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of Square Enix slowly coming onto PlayStation. I'm waiting for this deal to be announced that PlayStation own them.
Well, we had Square Enix a couple months ago as well, with the Dragon Quest game on.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It just feels like a lot of them are coming this way.
Yeah.
Anything you want to mention?
Just a couple, nothing major. One of the ones that I kind of really like the look of, but I again, it didn't make me want to play it. I just thought, oh, that's cool. Was a game called Erica, which was kind of like a.
I've played Erica.
You've played Erica. It's all right.
It's okay. I
Yeah.
played it through to platinum. It's a nice, easy platinum. It's very much.
It's just like a mystery game, right?
It's a mystery
like
game, multiple sort of
spooky-
endings that you
yeah.
can do. I think it's like 2 or 3 endings, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's okay.
It was a PS Essential game fucking forever ago.
It was. I
Oh,
didn't.
right.
It's in like
Okay.
the depths of my library, and I just never played it.
Yeah, it looks cool. I just thought it looked interesting. If I put it on my top 5 when we were voting, just because I was like, that's
looks
one that
cool.
makes me think I would want to play it. And then an honourable mention to the fact that Dragon Ball Fighters was on there, which we had a lengthy discussion about in a previous episode. If you want to check
On our
I
fight episode,
re-downloaded it.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well,
I saw it and I went, yeah. I had fun.
yeah, it's stupid fun. Switch off, but yeah,
Yeah.
if you want to hear more about what our thoughts are on that game, go check out our fight episode. But that brings us to the end of this one. Really appreciate you all for sticking around, having a little think about PS Plus. I'm looking forward to what's coming out next month. Any suggestions of what you think is coming out next month? I think the only one we all sort of assume is coming out is Sayonara Wild Hearts because they fucked up with their announcements this month.
When is Hogwarts out?
Hogwarts Legacy is out on the 10th, but it won't be on PS
It'll
Plus.
be
Yeah, oh, wow. Yeah, no, to be fair, I just got really overexcited because I was like, no, it's coming out, isn't
It'll
it?
be discussed in our episode.
Yeah, because you'll have played it by then.
Yes, I will.
I don't know. I'm hoping for... I just like dumb RPGs that come up.
I would like something. I'd like one really big game, but I'm trying to think of like a game that seems like Fallout 76 came out this month, and I was like, nah, I'm not even going to try and touch that. I'm just trying to think of something that's, oh wow, that's here.
A lot of people are banking on coming to extra soon. Is Kena.
Oh, Kena and Bridge of Spirits, which you've completed.
I
I've got.
planned it. I really enjoyed it.
I think I'm not looking for any specific game, but I would like to see maybe like an indie horror I haven't played before. I haven't played like a good solid spooky game in a while.
nice Japanese visual novel spooky horror.
Well, not even
No,
just
I
something
was-
that's gonna make me like shit my pants a little bit. I would like that.
Cool.
Like,
So, Sekiro, please, Sony. Help me.
I'm
Anyone Sekiro?
I'm
I
expecting
don't wanna buy
something with a Valentine's twist.
yeah.
Fallout 4. Nick Valentine.
Like, I reckon Hatterful Boyfriend is coming back again.
Oh, not
It's
fucking
already done it
Hatterful
once, so why not put it on its head?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
The only thing that I ever thought was worse than in Persona when you were trying to get that teacher to fuck you was that getting that
literally.
pigeon to fuck you.
Only to get more free time.
With Persona 4 and the others coming
Maybe
to
5 comes
PlayStation, maybe 5 comes on.
Strikers was a essential game last year.
So why not Persona 5?
Why not Persona 5?
Maybe, who knows? Anyway, thank you for coming along. Do check us out on our socials at Discount Pod. That's 2 C's.
Please love us.
At Discount Cerys, Discount Josh, Discount Darren. And that's all on Instagram. 2 R's.
I've said that every episode.
Also, we are now on Twitch. We stream Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays. Wednesdays are episode games. Mondays and Fridays are legacy games where Darren is playing Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
I'm playing Demon Souls and Keris is playing Pokemon Violet. Do check us out on those. And most importantly, do all that like, share, subscribe, all those fun things. And hopefully this episode will be on YouTube along with the other episodes that should be on YouTube that I haven't done my job for. So that is it. That's everything. Thank you for being our player fools, and we'll check you out next time.
Bye.